Hello guys, so now we shall be discussing regarding the suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscles, which means this is the hyoid bone. What are the muscles that are located above the hyoid bone and what are the muscles that are located below your hyoid bone? So the topic of discussion would be suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscles. Suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscles. So first we shall draw the picture and then we shall list out what are the different suprahyoid and infrahyoid muscles. So to draw this suprahyoid infrahyoid, first of all I have to draw the mandible and then I have to draw the hyoid bone, then I have to draw the thyroid cartilage over here, then the cricoid and then the sternum, even the scapula also have to draw, okay, because there are also insertions, attachments to there. So for example, what we shall do is that for our easy purpose, let us make a midline in the center. So let us say that this particular thing over here is your midline. Okay, so this particular thing over here is your midline. Now within this midline, let me draw one very important thing, that see, this is the half of your mandible. Okay, so this is your mandible all over here. And these are the tooth sockets. And these are the teeth that are present over here. Okay, just a rough picture, okay, don't take it seriously. Now next important thing is that side to this we have got a process called, this process is called as the styloid process. So on both the sides we have got this particular process called as the styloid process, and this is how it continues like this, right? Now in the midline, in the center you have got a particular bone like this. This particular bone which you can see in the center is called as your hyoid bone. Now just beneath your hyoid bone, here you have got what, this particular cartilage which I am drawing right now is your thyroid cartilage, right? So this particular cartilage is your thyroid cartilage. This is your thyroid cartilage, and beneath your thyroid you have got your cricoid. This is your cricoid. And what I am trying to do is that on the lateral aspects of thyroid cartilage you have got an oblique line. This is called as oblique line of the thyroid cartilage. And down here you have got your sternum, and here you have got your clavicle. This is your clavicle. And not to forget that you even have got your scapula over here. Right? So this is just a rough picture of the structures which I wanted to draw over here. Okay. Now the first important thing is that what is our basis? Our basis is nothing but the hyoid bone. Where is the hyoid bone? This is your hyoid bone. This is your hyoid bone. Now we will discuss first what are the muscles that are present above the hyoid bone, and then what are the muscles that are present below the hyoid bone. So first of all, let us go with this. If you can see very clearly that from the lower angle of the mandible, from the lower surface of the mandible all the way till the body of the hyoid bone, you see a muscle here, right? So this muscle, whatever I have drawn over here, is called as mylohyoid muscle. Okay, so this particular muscle which you can see over here, right, you see this muscle. So this particular muscle which you can see over here is called as your mylohyoid muscle. So this particular muscle over here is called as your, I will write down the names later on. This is called as your mylohyoid muscle. Now after this mylohyoid muscle, you should know one very important thing, that this bone is called as your mastoid bone. See, this is called as your mastoid, and this one is also called as your mastoid. Okay. Now what I'm telling you is that you come across one more muscle that is coming all the way down. Okay, let me use another color. All the way down from the inferior angle of your mandible, inferior border of your mandible, and this muscle comes down all the way till the hyoid bone. And what is this muscle doing? Let us say there is a hook. Again, there is a hook like structure. Okay, there is a hook like structure. So what is this muscle actually doing is that this muscle is passing through this hook and it is coming out, right? And there is another process of the muscle that is going and attaching here. You see, right? So this particular muscle which I have drawn right now, this particular muscle which I am drawing right now, this is called as your digastric muscle. So how many digastric muscles we have got? We have got only one digastric muscle, but how many bellies do we have got? We have got two bellies of digastric. One is called as an anterior belly, another one is called as a posterior belly. Okay, so let me draw the same digastric muscle on the opposite side as well. Right. So this particular muscle over here is called as your digastric muscle. Okay. So this particular muscle over here is called as your digastric muscle over here. So how many bellies of digastric muscle? One is called as the anterior belly, another one is called as your posterior belly of your digastric muscle. Now second important thing is that the way the mylohyoid muscle is attached. So if you are getting confused, let me write down the names. So this particular muscle over here is called as your mylohyoid muscle. See, this particular muscle over here is called as your mylohyoid muscle. So one muscle, what is that? Mylohyoid. Next muscle is your digastric. So this is your digastric muscle. Now in this digastric muscle, you know, this is the posterior belly, this is the anterior belly. Again, anterior belly and posterior belly. Now if you look at the mylohyoid muscle, behind this mylohyoid muscle, there is another muscle like this. Okay, you see, behind the mylohyoid muscle, that is why I am drawing with the dotted lines. Behind the mylohyoid muscle, you see another important muscle. So this muscle that is located behind the mylohyoid muscle, right? So this particular muscle over here is what is called as your geniohyoid muscle. What is the name of this muscle? The name of this muscle over here is your geniohyoid muscle. So this particular muscle over here is called as your geniohyoid muscle. So one muscle we have got is the mylohyoid muscle. Another muscle we have got over here is your geniohyoid muscle. So next muscle we have got is a digastric muscle. Next important thing is that you also see one more muscle over here. Where is this muscle located? See here. So this is the muscle that is starting all the way from the styloid process. I told you this is a styloid process. So from the styloid process all the way this muscle attaches to the body of your hyoid bone, right? So it is attaching to the body of your hyoid bone. So this muscle over here is called as your stylohyoid muscle. Stylohyoid muscle. So this muscle over here is called as your stylohyoid muscle. So what is this muscle? This is called as your stylohyoid muscle. So how many muscles do we have over here? First is geniohyoid, next is stylohyoid, third is mylohyoid, and fourth is your digastric muscle. So these are the muscles that are present above your hyoid bone. Okay, so that is why these muscles are called as suprahyoid muscles. So let us write down the list. The suprahyoid muscles are how many? One is called as mylohyoid, another one is called as geniohyoid, third important one is called as your digastric muscle, and fourth important one is called as your stylohyoid muscle. Now within this digastric there are two bellies. One is called as your anterior belly, another one is called as your posterior belly. So all these are the muscles that are called as suprahyoid muscles. Now let us discuss the infrahyoid muscles. Let us see what are the different kinds of infrahyoid muscles we have got. Right. What are the different types of muscles we have got? Now, first important muscle is that, first of all, you should know that here we have got a tendon. Okay, so this tendon over here is called as your intermediate tendon. Now, within this intermediate tendon, you see another muscle that is coming all the way, right? So this muscle is also having two bellies like this. See, this is called as the superior belly. Okay, and the next belly which I'm drawing down, it is all the way going and attaching to your scapula. This one is called as your inferior belly. So how many bellies do you have? You have got two bellies over here. So one is called as your superior belly and the other one over here is called as your inferior belly, right? So what is the name of this muscle? This muscle is called as your omohyoid muscle. So this is your omohyoid muscle. So omohyoid muscle has got your superior belly, right, as well as the inferior belly. Superior and inferior belly of your omohyoid muscle. Now after this omohyoid muscle, the next important muscle I am telling you, look here. So this muscle, let me draw it with another border. So this muscle attaches all the way from the sternum to the hyoid bone. For example, see, this is the muscle. Okay, so how it is attaching? It is attaching all the way from the sternum to the hyoid bone. You see, from the sternum down up till the hyoid bone. So what should be the name? The name should be called as sternohyoid muscle. So the name of this muscle over here is sternohyoid muscle. This is called as sternohyoid. Second one we have already discussed here. What is this? Omohyoid muscle. Omohyoid muscle. Okay. So after sternohyoid and omohyoid, you have got another muscle. What is this muscle? So this muscle starts all the way from the thyroid, right? And it is going and inserting to your hyoid bone. Okay. So this is the muscle. What is the name of this muscle? This is attached all the way from the thyroid to the hyoid. So this is called as thyrohyoid muscle. So this muscle over here is called as your thyrohyoid muscle. So this muscle over here is called as your thyrohyoid muscle. So we have discussed omohyoid. Okay, we have discussed thyrohyoid. We have also discussed another muscle that is called as sternohyoid. Now I am discussing another muscle. All the way this starts from the sternum. All the way this starts from the thyroid. From the thyroid all the way down till your sternum. So actually it is starting from which part of the thyroid cartilage? It is starting from the oblique line of the thyroid cartilage. From there you see this muscle which is coming down, right? So this muscle which is starting from the thyroid till the sternum, this is called as sternothyroid muscle. So the name of this muscle is sternothyroid muscle. Okay, the next muscle over here is your sternothyroid muscle. Sternothyroid muscle, and we should also write there is one more muscle that is missing. What is this? Omohyoid we have written, sternohyoid we have written, and what is this? Thyrohyoid. Yes, thyrohyoid muscle. So these are all the muscles that are located beneath your hyoid bone. So that is why you have to call it as infrahyoid muscles. So this is the list of suprahyoid and infrahyoid, guys. So thank you so much for watching my video. Goodbye.